it's your girl Gabby here, and I am back with the first video of 2021. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me for another year. If you're new here, go ahead, subscribe, become a part of the graduating class. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You're going to love it here, okay? Now, if you've been with me for a while, you've been a part of the channel for a minute, you know that sometimes I tend to break away from what I normally do. Sometimes I do other things, talk about other things besides college in preparation for college. And one of those things that I like to do when I really feel the need to is do a little bit of commentary. It could be about celebrities, it could be about political stuff, whatever. You know, sometimes I be having an opinion, I be having stuff to say, and I don't really have nowhere else to put it but on this channel, so here we are. So yeah, that is what today's video is pretty much coming from. And I don't want to do a really long intro because I know I ramble, and I know a lot of times y'all are like, girl, get to the point. So I want to start off with a disclaimer that, number one, I'm not a political analyst. I am not, you know, somebody who knows everything about the political realm. This is just me, my opinion, coming from what I've seen, what we've experienced in the last 4 years. So yeah, and I really think that I should have something stronger in this cup. It's really only cranberry juice, but for what I'm about to talk about, we need wine, we need vodka, we need prayer, the whole nine. But let me go ahead and just jump into the reason why we're here. So if you don't know what happened on Wednesday, January 6th at the nation's capital, I don't know where you've been. I don't know what's going on. It's on all social media, all news platforms. Like, you clearly have been under a rock, or maybe you're just not dealing with social media or news right now, and that's why you don't know. But honey, it was a lot going on, right? So Wednesday, January 6th was supposed to be pretty much the government officials coming together to certify Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as president and vice president, right? But it just so happens that on this day that they're supposed to certify his presidency, count all the electoral votes, that some Republicans decided that, you know, well, we're going to contest a few of these electoral votes that have come in pretty much on like baseless and like factless grounds. We all know that since November, the current president, Mr. Trump, has pretty much been spewing this whole thing of like, you know, voter fraud, and, you know, you guys didn't count things right. The phone call between him and I believe the Georgia governor came out not too long ago. So it's just been a whole lot of drama since November, right? And Republicans decided that they were going to keep this up and try to contest the electoral votes, right? So boom, we're setting the stage for what's about to happen. Lo and behold, Trump basically, or his cronies, his boys, his people, whatever we gonna call them today, basically came through and defiled the Capitol building, pretty much. So they took stuff, they ransacked people's offices, wrote things on people's offices, took mail, committed all types of like federal crimes, and basically got to run amok in the Capitol building, cause all types of chaos, be violent, to the point where Vice President Pence was pretty much evacuated from the building. Senators were held up in their offices, barricaded in their offices for whatever reason. Like 4 people died, I believe, is what I read this morning. So it basically went down, okay, in the Capitol on January 6th. And I think the entire thing just confirmed what a lot of people, especially Black people, what we already knew about the whole thing, right? So here's what I have to say. Number one, okay, who's to blame in all of this? And I think the obvious answer to that question is Mr. Trump, right? You know, from jump, he's been problematic. We all knew that. I think the first time that I really realized, yo, he's not it, is when he was at a rally and he was making fun of disabled people. And for me, that's a soft spot because I do have a little sister that does have a disability. But also, people with disabilities in general is really a soft spot for me, right? Because those people don't choose to have them. A lot of times you're born with them, or you get put in situations that you can't necessarily control that cause a disability. So I knew something was wrong then, but just the last 4 years has really just been like all types of evidence of what we knew before he was even elected into office, right? But I think the blame here is not necessarily on Trump, and this might be a, unpopular opinion, but I think the people who worked for him during this entire time, and I'm not gonna say the entire Republican Party because I don't know all the Republicans, but I think some of them should be to blame for this really being able to come to a head the way that it did, right? So you have to have yes men. You have to have yes people that carry out these acts. It's not just him. He can say do something, but there's people that actually have to go out and get it done, right? Those people are to blame. The individuals who basically enabled him, Republicans who, stuck up for him, or, made a way for him to even stay in office, because clearly, he was supposed to be gone a long time ago. But, them kind of tiptoeing around him and not calling stuff out and not being more aggressive in, like I said, calling the man out about the bull crap has definitely aided in where we are today. And I'm forgetting a group, honey. Them people who actually went and stormed the Capitol are definitely a part of the blame, right? My thing is this: everybody in this situation is grown. Everybody in this situation has their own will, can make their own decisions. These people consciously made decisions that led us up to where we're at right now. And it's really no taking it back at this point. 4 people died. You got a bunch of damage to the freaking Capitol building. Everything was thrown off. I'm sure there's some people who are in the building who low-key have PTSD. All of these things happened as a result of what you all allowed to happen for the last 4 years, the choices and decisions that you made. So it's not just Trump, because obviously he's at the forefront, he's at fault. But there are a lot of other parties within this all that should be, I don't want to say in trouble, but that should be held accountable along with Mr. Trump. So that's number one, okay? Number two, I think the implications of all of this, or what's going to happen as a result of this crap happening on January 6th, is it's so many that I could go through, but I'm just gonna pick a few. I think number one, it really is going to cause white people who already knew that they had privilege, who already knew that they could do whatever the heck they wanted to do and not be held accountable for it. It's going to cause more of what we saw at the Capitol in everyday situations, in grocery stores, in neighborhoods, with police officers. Let's keep it funky. We're gonna see a lot more of that, because that whole situation proved what Black people already knew, but what I think a lot of white people needed to understand, but also at the same time what could be problematic for them to actually see is that they can get away with doing whatever the heck they want to do, and they're not going to be penalized for it, right? Like, if the tables were turned, if this was Black Lives Matter a couple of months ago in the summertime, it would have been a very, very different scenario. Like, they come strapped before they even know that they need to be strapped, right? When you watch some of the videos from yesterday, there was no guns drawn, there were no grenades, there was no tear gas. The National Guard didn't show up till way after everything had already jumped off. Like, it just was a very clear difference. And I think seeing that in real time is going to be helpful for those people who needed to see what people of color have been talking about all these years. But I think it's also going to be really, really problematic, because I feel like we're going to see way more entitled people doing whatever the heck they want to do because they know that they can get away with it. And that for me is very scary. I think the second biggest implication from all of this is that we're not the only ones that saw what happened, right? Social media is an international place, okay? So we saw it, but everybody else saw it. They saw the ghetto, they saw what was happening, and my biggest fear after all of this is that we're gonna have some random country feel like they can come over and do what they want to do. Now, realistically, could that happen? Like I said, I'm not a political analyst. I don't know everything. I can't make any predictions, but the way that went down, it really makes us look discombobulated, really weak. And I'm sure most countries around the world already knew that, even from just like the situation with Covina, like that is still a hot mess, right? But I think this just puts the nail in the coffin, the icing on the doggone cake, that we don't have it together. And if they were to come over and, say, hey, what's up? We wouldn't know what to do with that. So I think that's my biggest fear. But I don't want this video to be too long. But moving forward, I just want to make some corrections, because I've seen some stuff on Twitter that's a little disheartening for me. There was a woman who actually passed away. I think she was like shot in her neck at some point during all of the commotion. And there are people on Twitter basically saying hashtag say her name. First off, say her name is for Black women, period. Okay? Period. With a T. All right? Like, you are not going to take what we've created in an effort to try to shed light on some of the bogus crap that has happened to Black women and use it for your own personal gain. Rest in peace to her. Peace and blessings to her family. Prayers. I don't wish death on nobody, and I'm not going to say that I don't care about that, because death is not something that you can come back from. However, okay, you cannot put Breonna Taylor and this woman in the same boat, because Breonna Taylor was in her bed asleep, okay? She was doing nothing wrong. She was involved in nothing wrong. This woman showed up at the Capitol knowing that there is some sort of chance that she could be killed, that she could be hurt. Well, you know what? Let me take that back. I don't know. These is white people. Who knows? I don't know what they came there trying to do. I don't know what their thought process was. Either way, she came with the intention to storm a federal building, to throw off a federal proceeding. I'm gonna do y'all like y'all do Black people when a drug dealer passes away or when a rapper passes away. I always hear, especially on Twitter, or I always see, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So this is the same thing with Lil Mama who passed. No disrespect. Rest in peace to her. But this is the same thing. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? I'm gonna do y'all the same way that y'all do us, okay? So if she showed up and that's what happened, while it's sad, while it's not okay, I'm sure she has children, I'm sure she has family. I don't want anybody to lose their life for anything. This is what happens. But what y'all not gonna do is try to say her name and this lady in the same boat. It don't mix, it doesn't match. Stop trying it. I'm gonna go after y'all every time that I see it, because it's so disrespectful and it's so wrong, and it's really indicative of the type of country and the type of place that we're living in. The fact that y'all can take things that are so important to us and so needed for us, just a freaking hashtag, like, because that's really in so many cases all we can get a lot of times. For y'all to take that and try to put that in the same, no, not on my watch, not at all. But like I said, I don't want this video to be long. Moving forward, I am really excited that Biden and Harris are taking over. Do I think that they're going to be perfect? No, but I think that they can be encouraged to do more, encouraged to put people in positions, encouraged to be better than this last administration was, right? So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm really praying that you know, a lot of the implications that I talked about early in the video don't come to pass, but this is America. At this point, who knows? So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Please be on the lookout for the next video of 2021. I will be back on my college preparation kick, so make sure that you guys are tuned in for that. I love you guys. Please stay safe, wear your masks, and most importantly, make sure that you are staying prayed up, because it is crazy out here. All right guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.